Thank you again for joining the Blush Theater Company for our first online production. This has been a fun learning experience for all of us. We hope you also will have fun this evening. Now sit back and enjoy as we discover who shot Cupid.
Welcome, and thank you for replying to Mother Nature's gathering call. I know that it is a rare event for Mother Nature to call all of you together in one place. But as you know, this is an extreme and very grave occasion. As members of the International Holiday Character Association, you are each held responsible for the vow you took upon commencement of your duties. That responsibility has always been to attend to and care for your own holiday without disrupting other holidays. You all took the vow, but alas, Mother Nature has called you here because there has been a breach of that responsibility and of the trust that has always been built on that vow. I will begin by recapping the information that you should all be aware of by now. Approximately 1 moon cycle ago, I received a call from Mother Nature asking for my assistance to uncover the truth of a terrible crime that had been committed within the hallowed valleys of her beloved woods. She informed me that she found a cherub unconscious along the river Tyne. She quickly surmised the identity of this cherub as Cupid, our beloved harbinger and emissary of love. She reported that she found his trusty bow and arrow were missing. We all know the seriousness that this must represent, as these tools of his trade are always close at hand. Mother Nature reported that she observed a puncture wound in his buttocks. The wound was consistent with an arrow wound, as her expert eye concluded. Based on the evidence at hand, she calculated that the crime had been committed within the hour.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry I'm late. Did you begin already?
Yes, my dear Miss Sugarplum, we have started.
Oh, I hope I didn't miss much.
Only the whole recap. I was just about to begin my follow-up questions.
Oh, good. I'm not too late. I was so upset with the whole mess. Imagine what life would be like without Cupid, without the love he spreads. I dare say we would hardly be able to survive. I mean, really, what would life be like without love? I can answer your questions now.
Well, I have several characters to question.
Oh, but you don't need to, I'm telling you.
And why would that be?
Because I'm a fairy. A woodland fairy. I know all things that happen in the woods, so you can just ask me. I saw him lying there and my heart just broke.
Yeah, right. Like a fairy would really know anything. I'm sorry, but I have work to do.
No, really, I know it all. Santa and the pilgrim were
Excuse me. You were all present in the woods when she sent her messenger, the thunder, to announce this tragedy.
But why were they there? Do you know? I do.
I'm sure you all remember that moment. I have spoken with many of you individually since that traumatic moment. But I have called you here today for some follow-up questions and to get to the bottom of this mystery.
The leprechaun! That's why he was screaming like a banshee.
Let's begin with the strange and suspicious occurrence of all of you being in the woods at the same time, just minutes after the discovery of this crime. Let's begin with Santa. Santa Claus. Mr. Claus, please rise and tell the assembly what brought you to the woods that evening so far from your home at Christmas. Don't be shy.
Ho, ho, ho. Well, I've been working in the yard outside my workshop when I was attacked by Grim Reaper. He would have killed me if the pilgrim hadn't stopped him. We chased the Grim Reaper into the woods, and after searching for him for a while, he appeared with a pot of gold as an apology. I took the gift because, well, it would go a long way for making toys in my workshop. Yeah, that's right. I then left to return home. I was walking with the pilgrim when we heard screaming in the woods and ran back to discover what it was. We saw the leprechaun yelling. That's why I was in the woods. I think it's pretty clear who shot Cupid. The Grim Reaper clearly is the violent character you're looking for.
Well, let's not jump to any conclusions.
Good call. Do you want to know why he was screaming?
Santa, you say you traveled from Christmas to the woods. That trip is a rather long trip.
Where do you think he got that pot of gold?
So it is safe to say that you were with Pilgrim for a long time before the announcement came. That may give you a reliable witness to your alibi. Miss Pilgrim, please rise. Can you verify Santa's story?
Yes, sir. I saw the Grim Reaper walk by Thanksgiving, and he looked suspicious. So I followed him from a distance. When he attacked Santa with his bony hands, I clubbed him on the head with a turkey leg. When he ran, we chased him. Eventually, he wore us out. He's got endless energy because he's already dead, you know. But we get tired. When he offered us the gold, I thought it would help us on our turkey farm. So we took it and headed home. We then heard the shouts. When we got there, the leprechaun was throwing a shameful, childish tantrum. We then realized that the gold the Grim Reaper had given us was stolen. He is a terrible liar and thief. I wouldn't put it past him to shoot Cupid if he had the chance.
I told you it's the Grim Reaper who's the thief. That's why the leprechaun was screaming. I told you, I know.
That is very interesting. So you were with Mr. Claus. It appears you both have a validified alibi. It does appear that Mr. Reaper is a violent, lying thief, but you didn't actually see him shoot Cupid or even with the weapon. It can be tempting to blame the first lowdown scum we see, but we can't let prejudice blind us, can we? Can I please have Mr. Reaper stand?
Oh, he's scary.
Do you have any defense to these charges against you? Any alibi? Where were you moments before this interaction?
Yes, I may have borrowed some gold to get those goody two-shoes off my back. Yes, I was infuriated by Santa's jolly laugh, but I didn't hurt him. I was simply trying to preserve the dignity of Halloween from the flood of midgets dressed like SpongeBob SquarePants and My Little Ponies, to stop the outrageous spread of the lovey-dovey gushing that is ruining Halloween. But I didn't shoot anyone. I never even saw Cupid. I was with Columbus and Lincoln when we heard the cries. Besides, we all saw the bow in Easter Bunny's hand and how he suddenly dropped it when the announcement came. He was caught red or white-handed. He's obviously the guilty one.
Did you hear that? He hadn't found Cupid. I could have told you he was looking for him. Like I said, I know everything that happens in my woods. He wanted to kill him. He wanted to rid the world of love. How terrible. What a horrible creature.
So you admit you were looking for Cupid, and you do have some motivation to stop the spread of love from, as you say, ruining Halloween.
Really, it's sad. He's such a sad excuse for a dead thing.
You say that you were with Mr. Columbus and Mr. Lincoln when you heard the screams. There again, you may have a reliable witness to confirm your story. Where is Mr. Columbus? Can you please confirm you were with Mr. Reaper and verify his story and what you were doing together?
I had been called by Lincoln to find the leprechaun to inform him of a setup to trap him in a tax evasion accusation that Uncle Sam was putting together. While looking for the leprechaun, I found the Grim Reaper with his bony hands shaking Baby New Year. I shouted, "Unhand that baby!" He had evidently mistaken Baby New Year for Cupid, a reasonable misidentification. They are both chubby little cherubs. I took him into custody to be interrogated by Presidente Lincoln. We also got Baby New Year with us to make a victim statement. We heard the shots and came to investigate.
I told you the screams of the green guy brought them all in. I saw them all come flooding into my poor woods, trampling on all the precious violets.
So you're saying that Mr. Reaper attacked Baby New Year and he thought it was Cupid?
I could have told you that too. I saw the baby sleeping there and the bony hands grab him.
This is getting more and more interesting. Mr. Claus and Miss Pilgrim confirm each other's stories, and they have no apparent motivation for hurting Cupid.
I can confirm the stories, but is anyone going to ask me? No.
It would seem rather strange, as the two of them seem to be, let's say, on the same team. That is, I mean, on the team for love and Thanksgiving and such. But the Grim Reaper, on the other hand, seems to have both the motivation and the character for such an act, yet has a pretty tight alibi. When Cupid was being shot, he was attacking Baby New Year, as witnessed by Mr. Columbus. Of course, there is the question of whether Mr. Columbus is really a reliable character, or is he just trying to take credit for discovering something? Again. But Mr. Reaper did state that he saw Mr. Bunny holding the weapon. Did anyone else see Mr. Bunny with the weapon?
Oh, pick me.
Please stand and speak if you also witnessed this.
Yes. I saw Easter Bunny with the bow. I think we all saw him. Besides, it would make sense that he would want to hurt Cupid. Valentine's has been encroaching on the other spring holidays. Easter, Father's Day, and Labor Day.
But
Thank you, Father Time, for your testimony.
but
Easter Bunny, do you have anything to say for yourself? Any alibi at all?
No. I was looking for eggs to color when I came across a broken basket handle in the grass. I was going to take it home to repair it. Then I heard the yelling and came running. I didn't realize it was Cupid's bow, at least not until we heard the thunder that told us he'd been shot. Then everybody looked at me. Besides, since when is Labor Day a spring holiday? Father Time is just a confused old man.
Wait up there. Don't get all hopped up, Mr. Bunny. So we do have others who saw the weapon in your hand, Mr. Bunny.
But I know people have always confused Memorial and Labor Day, but it is clear Father Time got that wrong.
You claim you didn't know it was the bow or that Cupid had been shot, but who can confirm this?
Me! Choose me!
I can say something about that. I'm Baby New Year, and I was sleeping in the woods when I suddenly was shaken awake by the big bony hands of the Grim Reaper, just like they all said. But after the whole thing was done, the thunder spoke to us to tell us about the shooting, and then the rain came to send us home. Easter Bunny told me he found the bow in the grass by the river, and there was no arrow with it. That's all. Now, I just want to say something else. I know I look a lot like Cupid. Lots of people say that. But that's no reason to hurt me. Just 'cause you don't like him, you big meanie.
Thank you, Master New Year, for your statement. It is quite apparent that you, my young herald of the future, were a victim, perhaps of two sneaky fellows. You clearly were the victim of Mr. Reaper's violent, mistaken identity, but were you also the victim of the deceptions of a jealous cottontail?
No, no. He wasn't the jealous one, I'm telling you.
I would like to return to the issue of Mr. Columbus's alibi. He claimed to be acting on behalf of Mr. Lincoln in sparing the leprechaun of a duty-dodging deception. Yet the veracity of this claim is yet to be established. Surely Mr. Lincoln is an honorable fellow. Mr. Lincoln, can you please share your recollection of the charge you gave Mr. Columbus?
Absolutely, my fine detective. 1 8 days ago, our father brought forth to my ear declaration of a suspicion that our quirky friend, the leprechaun, had been hiding his monetary goods for the purpose of evading due levy. They were planning a way to prove this point, but their plan sounded like trickery to me. I didn't think it was fair that Uncle Sam in Washington would do anything other than speak directly to the Honorable Leprechaun about their suspicions. Sure, he's a cleverly enterprising fellow, but he deserves a fair shake and chance to defend himself. So I asked Columbus, because of his renown as a discoverer, to uncover the whereabouts of the half-pint Irishman to inform him of the pending bureaucratic ruse. He returned to me without any knowledge of these whereabouts, but instead with the Grim Reaper and Baby New Year in tow. I had taken the victim's statement and was questioning the suspect when the sounds of havoc called us to the woods, and yes, I also witnessed the weapon in Easter Bunny's hand.
So you confirmed that Columbus had been with you early on, and also that Grim Reaper and Baby New Year were with you for an extended period of time, including the time that the crime was presumably committed. Interesting, very interesting. It sounds like Mr. Lincoln and Mr. Washington had a bit of a falling out, an unfortunate situation for two characters that share a holiday.
They never really got along anyway. It was all politics.
I believe I need to get the other side of the story. Mr. Washington, please tell the assembly your perspective on what was happening in the woods that day and why.
Gladly, my dear Inspector. I cannot tell a lie. Our great father, Uncle Sam, had come to me with a concern that our little Irish resident had been hiding his assets in the woods, and that this was depriving our community of needed tax revenue. Uncle Sam had brought myself, Mr. Lincoln, and Father Time into his confidence on this issue. I was willing to help Uncle Sam because I share his concern for the citizens' responsibility to the community through financial support. And besides that fact, I was aware that the leprechaun has a reputation of being a greedy cheat. I wouldn't put it past him to shoot a nice guy like Cupid if he had thought he could gain a buck. Father Time was unable to help because, well, he was, can we say, preoccupied with the shortness of his time. I could understand this because of my history. I know how hard it is to let go of power and hand it over to the next generation. Lincoln, God bless his naive honesty, wanted to believe that the conniving cheat would just confess, or that he had some honest defense. So, yes, we did have a disagreement. I was in a meeting with Uncle Sam when we heard the yelling and came to the woods.
I wouldn't put it past that greedy old Uncle Sam. He too may be preoccupied with the shortness of his time, but not like Father Time.
Thank you, Mr. Washington, for your honest and true account to the best of your recollection. So we have another suspect, the leprechaun himself, but we have yet to learn of any specific motive. We now need to hear from Uncle Sam to corroborate the story as put forth by Mr. Washington. Mr. Sam, could you please confirm or deny the facts as presented by Mr. Washington or any other character who has given testimony?
How do you know that Mr. Columbus and Mr. Lincoln aren't in an alliance to cover Mr. Reaper? Or Master New Year may have been paid off to cover for Easter Bunny. You never know the dirt someone might have on another.
Had put the leprechaun under investigation. I wouldn't say we were planning on tricking him, though it might be nice to see the trickster tricked for a change. I was in my office with Mr. Washington when we heard the ruckus and joined the others. Yes, I saw the bow in Easter Bunny's hand and was concerned that he had may accidentally done something. He's not the brightest light bulb, if you know what I mean. I agree that both the Grim Reaper and the Leprechaun are of questionable moral character, and could likely be enticed to such an act. I trust that through your diligence and wisdom, the guilty party will be found and receive their due justice.
Thank you for your vote of confidence, Mr. Sam.
You have more faith than I do in this guy. Ignoring his most reliable witness, me.
I also trust that we are narrowing in on the truth. I believe the last character we have yet to hear from is Mr. Leprechaun himself. Mr. Leprechaun, you have been accused of tax evasion, deception, trickery, violent verbal outburst. Unfortunately, you are not on trial for any of that, but that would prove to be a much easier burden of proof. Mr. Leprechaun, can you please tell the assembly what you were doing in the woods and what happened from your perspective?
I was going about me business, doing me own stuff, keeping me goods from the overarching arm of the establishment. When I found me goods be gone, I know I may be right loud. It's just the nature of me voice. I had no inkling of the horrible crime. I was there tending me goods and the wellness when I found it be gone. The cry of pain just sprang from the depths of me soul. How could I have helped it? We know the Reaper is a thief. You must punish him. He's a bully. He must have done the dastardly deed.
Thank you, Mr. Leprechaun, for your statement. So, there we have the evidence. Mr. Reaper appears to be our primary suspect with the means, motive, and character for such a deed, but he has an alibi witnessed by several people.
Is it my turn now?
Of course, there is always the chance that the group is in an alliance to protect him for some undisclosed reason. Then we have Mr. Bunny, our next suspect. He had the means. He was seen holding the weapon by multiple people. He has no alibi for the time frame, but has no strong motive, and it's not consistent with his character or his ability, shall we say. The only witness as to why he had the weapon was a second-hand witness, Baby New Year, who would likely believe anything Mr. Bunny told him.
No, no.
We also had witnesses suggest that Mr. Leprechaun has the character and a possible motive and the means with his ability for clever thievery, knowing that the weapon was most likely the victim's own bow and arrow. What do you all believe? Was it Mr. Grim Reaper, the Easter Bunny, the Leprechaun, someone else? Please select your choice from the options. Don't be shy. Let me know what you think.
I think it was you.
Excuse me?
You have all the facts about the case. You know everything that went on. You got your little notebook there with all the little notes you took. I think it was you.
This is my job. This is what I was created for. Of course I know all of the facts. You know what? What were you doing, since you have such a strong opinion on everything I say?
Oh, I'm the one with strong opinions. You're not you just hate me because I'm a fairy.
That has nothing to do with this.
Oh,
I
you
just think
didn't deny it. You didn't deny that you hate me because I'm a fairy. You just said it had nothing to do with this.
I just hate you as a general rule. You seem to butt into
You
all
just
of
hate me
my.
personally as a person. Like, okay, that's so much better, detective.
Listen, if you would stop interrupting my interrogations.
If you would have just asked me the darn questions, then we wouldn't have had to go through this entire thing.
See, unlike you, I have a job to do.
Fine, do your job.
Well then, let's see. Well, it looks like about 11% think it's the Easter Bunny, 22% think it's the leprechaun, 11% think it's Uncle Sam, 11% think it's Father Time. Excuse me? 11% think it's me. The 32% think it's the Sugar Plum Fairy.
What?
Would you look at that?
What?
Let's finish unwrapping the truth, shall we?
Excuse me, folks. Excuse me.
Hello, sir. May I help you?
Yes, I think you can.
And who are you?
I am your harbinger of love, messenger of arrows. I am Cupid.
I was trying to tell you.
How can this be? Everyone knows that Cupid is an eternally youthful cherub. You're old.
Is that what this is? I was wondering what was going on. I was down by the river time. I felt a pain in my backside. Next thing I know, I wake up in Mother Nature's garden. And when I got up to leave, I felt stiff all over. And ever since then, I've had aches in my back and pains in my knees.
Thank goodness fairies don't grow old.
I find myself asking people to speak up, and I can't find my bow and arrow. I don't normally misplace it.
Well, I can help you with that one. We found it and we have it right here.
Oh, good. I thought I was going crazy. My memory isn't what it usually is.
This is an interesting turn of events.
So, what do you think is so special about that bow, detective? Ask him, why don't you?
Tell me, Cupid, about the love magic in your bow.
Oh, the bow doesn't have any love magic. Its power is to carry the magic of the archer and send it in the arrow to the target. I'm the one with love, so when I use the bow, it carries my love on the arrow to the person I shoot. And they will fall in love with the next person they see.
So, what would happen if someone else used your bow?
I suppose it would carry whatever magic they have to the target person. Wait,
Yes, if you're old now, it must mean.
are you saying?
Yes, you were shot with your own bow and arrow.
So, whoever.
You're getting it.
Whoever was using it.
Just gave themselves away.
Someone whose magic is to age quickly?
So that must be the other old man.
Yes, and that would be you, Father Time. This is what happened. You were.
Getting anxious about the shortness of your time.
You didn't want to give up your reign, so you hatched a plan to
Steal Cupid's bow and arrow.
steal Cupid's bow and arrow and shoot Baby New Year to kill or disable him. so you could continue in your power. But
Forgetful?
in your forgetfulness, you forgot that the arrow doesn't kill, but only carries magic of its archer. But
Mistook?
yes, you, like so many other people, mistook Cupid for Baby New Year and shot him instead. Now he's aged so many years in these few days.
Yay! Thank you, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you, my dear fairy. Oh, you're so welcome, detective. I'm so glad to have been able to help. It's my duty as guardian of the woodland.
That jealous old man is the culprit.
I knew that, but who asked me?
Sure, you knew it.
I did.
My work here is done. No thanks to you, little fairy.
Wait! I'm so glad you found the hoodlum, but what can be done for me? If I continue to age like this, I will be in the grave before long, and I'm supposed to be eternal.
Wait, I have an idea. Baby New Year, we need you to shoot Cupid.
What?
Because Baby New Year is the eternal sign of youth and newness, he can return Cupid to his eternal youth as a fellow cherub.
Are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure?
Of course, I'm sure. I'm a fairy.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Trust me. Baby New Year, take the bow and arrow and shoot Cupid. Go ahead.
Ow! Oh! Oh! Ooh! 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 Wow! Thank you so much! I'm feeling your magic already! My energy is starting to return.
You better go back to your Valentine home and prepare for another year of eternal youth and spreading love. Sorry, Grim Reaper. Thank you, folks, for helping solve this crime. And yes, thank you, Sugar Plum Fairy.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
We'll see you next time we have a need to call together the International Holiday Character Association. Hopefully, that won't be for many millennia. Goodbye and good night.